This is the Rane One Mk2. At first glance, you can instantly see the new white faceplate. However, there are some serious upgrades here beyond just the colour. These big changes include 5 dedicated stems controls with new performance modes such as stems roll and stems effects. It also features 29 new onboard hardware effects with an OLED display and secondary pad buttons along the top to provide even more control over the performance features available. Add to that refined precision upfaders, 4 selectable channel effects, and Rane's Mag4 Crossfader, and what you've got is a controller that doesn't just update the original, it kind of redefines it. Now in this video, I'll break down all the features that are new and improved, and whether it's worth an upgrade. So as you can see, the new white colorway looks pretty slick, and this is how it comes as standard. This hasn't been skinned separately, it comes like this out of the box. And before we get into the performance features, which is really where this thing stands out for me, I just want to go over the platters. Now, these are the sort of traditional platters where you have this disc that comes in the box, and you also have a slip mat that comes in the box. You put these on, you put the slip mat on, this clicks in place. So you put it on and then move it around, and there's a little quick release button here that clicks it in place. It's worth noting that because of different people's DJ styles, how slippy this slip mat is can be altered with the washers that actually come in the box as well. So you can see in here, we have 4 washers. You can put 1 or 2 on each side. I'll just get some out and we can put them on. You could put 1 on, you could put 2 on, obviously making it more slippy ultimately. And then you can place this on, listen for that click, there we go, and then that makes it much slippier than none on this side. See how it grips really tight. These are high torque platters. You can switch it from high to low torque. They do feel, in my opinion, closest to traditional turntables out of nearly all the motorized platters on the market. I personally like these the most without the display in the middle, like some of the motorized ones. These just feel like real turntables to me, albeit a little bit smaller. Now, as this is a Mark II, I'm going to really dive into the updated features on it because that's where it really stands out for me. Now, it has all the bells and whistles you would expect of a controller of this caliber and size and price range. You know, all of your standard features are found on there, but this really stands out for its stems capabilities. There's 5 different ways to access stems on here with 2 new sort of performance stems modes available. Now, let me draw your attention to this new bank at the top here, and this is a quick access to various different pad modes. It's like a secondary pad mode feature. Now, I've got some hot cues set up here, and we can simply jump to the 4 hot cues. It's the same as whatever is on the top row in your performance pads down here. And we can hold the mode button, go to scratch banks, sampler, stems. We can obviously turn off the different stems up here. And then if I hold mode, there's secondary modes. So beat jump by double tapping twice. When it's flashing, we know that that mode is active. Double tap stem roll. This is one of the new things I'm going to show you, but down here. Stem effects and auto loop. So again, to access those different modes, it's simply using this mode button. I'm going to leave it on the hot cue mode for now, just for some demo purposes in a moment. Now, the new things that I want to show you are the stems roll and the stems effect. So stems roll we access by double tapping the roll function. And what you can do here is you can activate any of the 4 stems. So we've got vocals, melody, bass, and the drums. Now let's say I take just the vocal here and I go to a vocal section of the song. Now underneath, I can roll just that stem. And if I use this parameter button and go to the left side, it becomes a latching style button, so I have to hold it down. Or we can just turn it on. Go back to the vocals. And if I add any others in, it will grab that stem and roll it as well. And I can deactivate them. Now, the thing about the stems roll, which is quite cool, is that I could grab, say, like the drums. So if we go here, and then this build up, we get that build up. then I could actually just change the drums, but I could then jump to just the acapella of the song itself, and then I can use my hot cues. And then turn off the acapella. So it really is unlocking a lot of performance control over the music, because right there I could roll some of the drums, I could tighten the drums, but I could also play around with the acapella of the song by instantly turning the acapella on using this stems control here, playing around with the hot cues to cut the acapella up, and that's all combining both the stems roll and just standard hot cue and just stems isolation. So you can just see how it starts to unlock by having the two modes here. Unlock new ways of performing with the music for sure. The other one that I wanted to show you, which I love, is the stems effects. And if we tap stems button twice, then we get into the stems effects. And these are separate to the things that are labeled in the software. You might see them here: vocal effects, instrumental echo in the software. They're just the standard ones under the stems button, and they are featured here. But if we double tap that and go into this mode, we can do a similar thing where we can choose, say, just the drums, and then we can create an echo out on just the drums. We could do a breaker. Let's go to some more drums. So it's like a roll out, that one. Then a breaker. And this is just a delay. Now the parameter button makes the delay tighter, or all of these parameters tighter, so it'll do it quicker. Quicker, listen. So you've got like a whole beat or a half beat. So it's just a nicer way of getting rid of any individual stem. Unlike before, where we've got the traditional stems mode, we only have vocal echo, instrumental echo, instrumental breaker, and the drums echo. So I really like this new feature. If we double tap again, we could just choose, let's say, the vocal, or choose two, and echo them out. It just sounds super clean. So that's the stems effects now as well. So just to recap, you double tap here or double tap there for the stems roll or stems effects. As I just showed you, we've got the traditional stems mode here to activate and deactivate, or to do some of the traditional stems effects there. And then we have the buttons, which you saw me when I played with the acapellas. We can just automatically set it to go to the acapella or the instrumental. Now if I hold shift and do that, it echoes out the opposite thing. So if I want to be left with the acapella, it will echo the instrumental out, and it adds that stem effect in. Let's do it the other way. And that echoed the acapella out. Now you can, in the settings, change that so we don't have to hold the shift, and I think this is probably something you would want on a standard. To access the settings, hold shift, press this menu button here, and then the first option, acapella instrumental effects, tap across, then we click in here and we can just scroll to primary. Now, if I just go back out, it automatically adds that echo on to this feature here, and it just cleans up rather than just killing the instrumental or the acapella out. It just sounds much cleaner. Really nice touch. The last way to control and manipulate the stems is with the stems level, so you can turn the stem level up and down, and that's as simple as holding shift and pressing the Q button. When it's active, it means that for here on channel 1 we can now fade in the vocal or out, melody and the bass, and then the drums. So if we go to and then shift and that again to deactivate that and go back to traditional EQ. We have a silent cue here on the Rane One MK2. Now it's best turned on in the settings, so if we hold shift, press menu again, go down one to silent cue, tap in, and we're going to swap it from sensor mode and then go to the silent cue. So if we press yes on swap sensor, now we can have silent cue on. It will mute the track, and then when I press a hot cue, it reveals the track. I know some DJs like that, especially with the motorized platters. You want it spinning and then you're ready to just get straight into whatever hot cue you've got set. It's just one of those things that's nice to know about, and you might want to set up as standard on your gear. The other new thing that is really powerful within this unit are the 29 onboard effects that we have here, and also the 4 channel effects that we have. So let's go over the channel effects first. If we hold shift, we can toggle through the 4 different channel effects. Filter is as standard, and then we've also got filter, roll, noise, and flanger. So if I go to filter roll, for example, we activate it here. We've got that one, we've got noise. And we've got flanger. There's an extra on and off switch here, just as you can see it won't activate when that's turned off. So just to be aware of, I'll put it back onto filter. Then moving over to the actual effects, there's 6 hardware effects here, but then there's loads under the hood too, and we can really manipulate these and save them to our desired preset. So as standard, we've got echo, recycler, scale down, reverb, matrix, echo out, and you can just simply toggle them on. Just like this. Now in each of the effects you can use either the joystick or this parameter button to change some of the things within it. So if you see I tap up and down, it changes the beat fraction of the effect. I can scroll to change the length, which is a secondary option, but depending on what effect you're on, that's the resonance, for example. This one, it's the high pass filter cut and the reverb. Now if you amend these, let's say you want the reverb, we mess around with it, and you want the HP to turn the level up. And let's say you like the parameter set how it is there, you can then hold that button and it will save that effect with its parameters to that button. Now, if you want to explore some of the others, it's as simple as we can hold any of them. So let's say matrix, and then we can use this button to scroll through, and there's loads to choose from, including some fader effects. Now, if I go into like fader pitch, for example, I click the parameter button in. Now, when this is on, the fader becomes the effect. So we can do some cool different effects, whether that's scratching and pitching the scratch sample up and down. Or there's some other ones in here. Fader ring. And you can play around with those different effects. Now, if you don't like the fader effects, you can turn them off in the main menu settings. But there are loads of other effects to choose from. I just thought I'd show you some of those fader ones there, but we've got things like riser, rider, reverb, recycler, pumper, pitch down, phaser, mute, matrix, hold echo, flanger. There's loads to choose from. So I'm just going to pop that back on the matrix. So it's as standard, and you can reset, factory reset just the effects section here. If you prefer to use the Serato effects, you just simply toggle this button here and it's now on software effects, and we can toggle through the effects that are built within the software Serato. But Rane really does have some powerful effects, and these are the same ones brought through from the Rane Performer controller as well. The last thing to note about effects is that Mic 1 has an effects mode now as well, so you can plug into the Mic 1 and you can control all the levels on the face of the unit, but you can add effects on, and you've got echo and reverb, and you can change all the parameters of that echo and reverb and the depth of it, and that can be again saved to your microphone settings too. The faders here have been updated massively. These are tension faders now on the upfaders. To access the different tension, then you'll have to remove the caps here and here and the effects depth knob, and then you can unscrew this panel, take it off, and then there's some magnets that you can adjust to change how these feel, but they feel so nice already as standard, but you can really customize that. It's got the Mag 4 Crossfader, which just feels super tight for scratching as well, and you can change obviously the contour on the face of the unit. So it is really built for that open format scratch based DJ. On the front of the unit, you have an abundance of controls. I've already mentioned the Crossfader contour, and we have the headphone controls, the 1/8 and 1/4 inch jack, including the level and the Q mix. Then you've got deck contour, which is ultimately how the upfaders respond, whether it's a fast or slow contour, and you can reverse the upfaders too. There's a new sampler level, so you can turn the sampler level up and down on the unit itself rather than within the software. You've got mic 1 and 2 levels with EQ as well, and the ability to turn them on and off, or even have an aux plugged into where mic 2 is as well. On the rear of the unit, you've got your standard AC power, and then it has got the older style USB slots. There are still 2 to plug 2 laptops in for back-to-backs or changeovers, but it's still the older style. We haven't got USB-C featured on here, which I think it'd be quite nice to see that coming to a unit like this, but not a huge deal. We've got the motor torque to switch from high to low, booth output on XLR, main output on XLR, plus an extra RCA. And then we've also got the phono and line inputs as well for deck 1 and deck 2. So you could use this as a standalone mixer with some extra turntables or players alongside it. You've got your aux in on RCA, and then the 2 combo mic 1 and mic 2 XLR jack inputs. So there you have the new and improved and updated massively the Rane One MK2. And it's been a while since the original Rane One. Now, if you're thinking about upgrading, then it is definitely an upgrade. This isn't just some slight tweak. It's not just a white faceplate. So if you have the original Rane One and you love it, I would highly recommend upgrading to the MK2 for all of those extra performance features. Now, stems is becoming quite a powerful tool for most DJs, especially those that are using this style of controller for mixing. So it's great to see just so much functionality added to this. And I personally prefer this kind of motorized controller over some of the other controllers where you have like the flat onboard display. I still like them, but I come from a traditional turntable background. So the fact that these feel very, very close to traditional turntables, I personally like a lot. And, you know, just adding a bit of being able to change how they feel by adding the washers underneath. You could get your own custom slip mats if you want. Those little things I really like about this. But then you add in all of the controller features with the performance pads, and it really just become a powerhouse of a unit. Now, I'm personally not that interested in having 4 channels. So that's why I like this just being a 2-channel controller, because it puts focus on being creative with 2 decks, but using all of those, you know, stems, performance modes, and all of the unique things that are available just with the 2 decks. Because if you added 4 decks and all of that stuff, it can start to get super complicated. And you also have a bigger unit as well to carry around with you for that 1 or 2 times that you might use a 3rd channel. So for all those reasons, I think it looks great. Obviously, it's built very well because it's built by Rane, and it does just perform really well. So, you know, this is the first look review of it because I haven't had it for ages, so I can't attest to how long it would last, but like I said, it's built very well, and I do really like all of the features that have been thought about in this MK2, in this upgrade. So yeah, look, it comes in at a fair price for what it is. I think if you're looking to potentially start out with this, then just bear in mind that it's a very customizable piece of equipment, and there is a lot going on under the hood with the settings and the effects, as you've seen, and you can really tailor this to your specific use case and specific style. Now, if you put the time in to learn some of those things, then you can really make this your own, but it's just something to keep in mind is that there is a lot to sort of figure out if you're going to start out with this. If you're used to any Rane equipment, then this is definitely, it just feels comfortable to play on. If you want to learn how to get more creative in your DJing, whether that's mixing more open format, whether that's scratching, go check out wearecrossfader.co.uk. We have dedicated courses for those kind of DJ skills, or if you just want to improve your skills all around, check out the complete package where you have access to 28 different DJ courses, including Serato specific ones, extra bonus crash courses on mixing with stems, plus those I mentioned like scratching, tone play, and mixing between genres. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this unit, and if there's anything you think has been missed off it, some of the features you think we've been waiting for and you are glad to see on this unit, let us know in the comments below. And I'll see you in another review video very soon.